morning, everyone. Welcome to Dawn Mountain. I am Harvey Aronson, one of the founding resident teachers. Anne, who's the other one, is away on retreat right now. We have a little brown book going around with a pen in it, and the purpose of that book is if you have anyone who at the end would just call people in the community who we would like to hold in our thoughts or recently passed, we like to hold in our prayers. Feel free to put either your own and or other people's names in that. So we start with an aspiration on this tan sheet, and it's just an aspiration. It's our heartfelt wish that beings be free from pain, and our interest in being able to serve others. May all beings always have happiness and its causes. May all beings always be free of pain and its causes. For as long as space abides, as long as the world remains, just so long may I be there, resolving all beings' pain. We gather on Sunday as an opportunity to do something a little bit different and give our minds a bit of a rest. And we do that by doing two forms of meditation. One is attention on our breathing, and one is attention on a sound. And in both cases, we are letting our attention rest and settle on either the breath or the sound. And we all know what our minds are like. There's all this chitter chatter, chitter chatter, chitter chatter. And there are many, many different approaches to meditation. And some might very, very directly deal with the chitter chatter, and some might indirectly deal with it. This is something of an indirect approach. We're really focusing our attention on resting in the breath or resting in the sound that we make with the chant. And what occurs in response to that is we get a little bit less glued in to the chitter chatter. And the long-term results of that are the mind over time can actually quiet down by itself. We don't have to beat it into quieting, just over time. But it's very, very important to recognize that if you're new to meditating, and that's can be weeks, months, and or years, as we initially start, one of the things you might feel is that our mind is even noisier than we thought. And that in part is just to the clarity that comes with focusing our attention. But gradually there is a lessening. Gradually, as we're resting in the breath or we're resting in the sound, the mind can start settling. Then out of meditation, it can be conducive to a bit less reactivity. So the two practices are, we will place our mind on our breathing and just rest in the breathing, and then we'll do a chant of a sacred syllable given to us by Adzon Rinpoche, and it's basically the syllable Hum recited twice. Hum, And after we chant that for a while, we'll go back to some quiet sitting. So just adopt a comfortable posture, your back a bit straight but not stiff, your shoulders relaxed, your chin can be tucked a little bit, your tongue to the palate where it meets your teeth. If you're comfortable, you can have your eyes open, looking down at the floor but not focused. If that seems to be difficult, you can have your eyes closed. And just allow yourself to place your attention on the breathing and then rest in the process of breathing. And then whatever is happening in your mind and your feelings, just let that come and go. You're really mostly allowing yourself to rest in the process of breathing. So we're here on a Sunday morning and we're interested in spirituality. I think most of us are drawn to wanting to deepen our love and compassion. But it's always an interesting question, how can we deepen love and compassion? So I turn to the obvious source of information, TED Talks. Netflix has a TED Talk series on love, so I watched 2 of them. One with Danny Goleman. And so the kernel that came out of what he had to say was that we have a natural inclination to really respond to others. And interestingly enough, what might be the biggest variable preventing that from occurring is how preoccupied we were. So they did a study at Princeton Theological Seminary, and they gave all these young divinity students a bogus task, which was some were going to give a sermon on the Good Samaritan, and some were going to give a sermon on some other biblical topic. And they were definitely curious as to whether the Good Samaritan folks would be better Samaritans than the people who just had the stray topic. But there was another experiment embedded in the experiment, and that was they had to go from one building to the other, and on the way to the other building there was a homeless person on the road. And so then the question was, who stopped to try to help the homeless person? Was it the people who were preparing for the Good Samaritan lecture, or the people who just had a stray biblical lecture? It turned out the topic didn't matter a hoot. What seemed to be the biggest variable was how preoccupied people were, how just beset by the task and how rushed they felt. And so the real variable seemed to be, can we turn our attention to another? And I think that's a great advertisement for developing attention that we did in the first part of the morning. It really has to do with, can we actually turn our focus to another person? Goleman then tells a story about being in New York and thinking about all these things, and then noticing another homeless person on the subway, and seemed out of it. And so he decided that he would try to find out what was going on. And the minute he stopped, he said then immediately 4 or 5 or 6 other people gathered around to assist as well. And it turned out the person didn't know any English and hadn't had any food or water for quite a while, so somebody ran and got some food and water, and he got much better very quickly. But his point was, as soon as there was some attention drawn to that person, other people's attention also was able to go there. So that's one element in developing our orientation towards others. And it's very, very important. Sometimes we think, I need to go on retreat and I have to get 5,000 teachings to learn how to develop love and compassion. But I think these very, very simple things are hugely important, and really important to consider in our own lives. So really paying attention to another person could be very, very significant. So then Brene Brown, who's actually local to U of H, she's one of our local stars, a very nice person. She studies shame. And so she had talked about how shame isolates us in our sense of badness, leaving us susceptible to depression and addictions. And it really is a very, very powerful, kind of omnipresent. Most of us, if you muck around deeply enough in our souls, you'll find some area where we feel shame. And that is, it's really a sense that I'm not worthwhile, I am bad. So the antidote to shame is shared vulnerability. You know, I have this problem just as you do. It's a kind of a mindset of me too. So this all actually can be conjoined with some practices we're cultivating nowadays in our Tuesday night teachings. There's a practice in Tibetan development of love and compassion called Donglen. Many, many people know it, even people who don't know anything about Buddhism. And it literally means taking in others' difficulty and giving others positivity. But based on what Goldman and Brown had to say, there are some very, very interesting and simple things we could do during the day and now. We're going to just practice it very, very shortly. But it's kind of a, again, you don't need a lot of tools and a lot of books and a lot of expertise, and this is something you can do anytime you have a moment. When we will do this, I'm going to ask you just to check in with yourself and see if you're feeling kind of positive or if you're feeling negative. If you're feeling positive, you can share that positivity with an exhalation of just benevolence or white light from your heart. You know, I'm feeling really happy, I'm feeling really up. May all beings share this positivity with an exhalation. You're touching with yourself, you're feeling negative, and you just can make the mental aspiration on the in-breath. I bet there are a lot of people out there also feeling negative. Me too. You know, other people are feeling just as negative. Just breathe that in. I'm feeling negative and other people are feeling negative as well. If you want to take it one step further, may my negativity contain other people's negativity so that they can be free of it. But the important thing is to actually be clear about what you're feeling. What is your actual experience? Am I feeling positive? Am I feeling negative? And nothing wrong with either. If it's positive, we breathe out and share. If it's negative, we breathe in and appreciate our vulnerability. Me too. I am feeling poorly just as others do. One level. Or I'm feeling poorly. May my feelings contain the negative feelings of all beings. Just two very, very simple practices. They're elements of Donglen practice. I'm feeling positive, I'm breathing out light. I'm feeling negative, I'm calling to mind my own experience and just recognizing that others feel the same and or making an aspiration to contain the negativity of others in my negativity. So we'll do that for a few moments. And with this, I really would recommend you to just have your eyes down, not focused, because this is something you want to be able to do during the day. Maybe you're at the office and you're realizing you're feeling really happy. You want to be able to breathe out just positivity with your eyes open. You're feeling really negative. I'm really feeling poorly. I realize other people feel this as well, just on the inhalation, realizing other people feel this as well. Or may I take in other people's poor feeling into mine and just contain it in mine. Okay, we'll do this for a few breaths. Check in with yourself. Positive. Breathe out positivity, maybe as white light to all. You're feeling negative. I'm aware of my negativity, just as others are on the inhalation. If you want to deepen that, may my negativity contain the negativity of all. My poor feelings, may they contain the poor feelings of all beings. So in a simple way, we could say that when we're doing that kind of practice, we're practicing either me too or you too. And both of those are avenues for dissolving isolation and shame and enhancing connection and compassion. So we can take about a 10-minute break right now.
Dawn Mountain offers traditional Buddhist teachings, primarily in the Tibetan tradition, in a way that is accessible to contemporary Americans. Having studied and practiced for many years under recognized Tibetan masters, and understanding that these teachings provide a way to realize the natural state of mind that embodies profound wisdom and deep love, Anne Klein and Harvey Aronson wished to share these traditions here in the United States. As a result, they established Dawn Mountain in June 1996, based on the core belief that it is possible to cultivate a better understanding of our deepest nature, which in turn facilitates new levels of mental calm and self-acceptance.
So our inspiration really comes from our love and gratitude to our own teachers. They spent so much time and care with us over many, many years.
Khetsen Rinpoche was extraordinarily compassionate. He had a terrific sense of humor. And just his ability to be present and immediate and just there. Adzon Rinpoche is extraordinarily compassionate and grounded.
And we've had extraordinary experiences with Adzon Rinpoche, whom I met in Tibet in 96. And I've had many hours of just, one-on-one conversation, a person who has tens of thousands of students to attend to. Okay, there's this wealth of cultural wisdom in Tibet. It's encoded in texts, in practices, in rituals, in art, and many people in the West are attracted to it, and yet Westerners are Westerners. We're Westerners. We're not monastics. We may dedicate our lives to practice in our heart of hearts, but we have families, we have jobs, we have all kinds of responsibilities. So how can we communicate and really experience transformation through these practices? For that, some kind of bridging is necessary. We're also a community center, nonprofit community center, which is the hub of our work extending life skills, the life skills of cultivating calm, of cultivating ease in life, of cultivating kindness.
What did you do today that you liked?
Make the glittery thing to show your anger.
And what happened when you shook up the glittery thing?
It made me feel a little bit like I wanted to meditate in peace.
And then the Research Institute is where we look at what we can provide by way of information gained through research for the interested public. So we've mentioned that our own teachings here, which are drawn from work that we've done, our own translation work, our own study, and so forth, some of these will start appearing as pamphlets for practitioners here, and some of them will become books that will be published and will be widely available to the larger public. And I am right now in the process of gathering a team to translate a text from this tradition, which he powerfully feels, and which I also have a very, very strong wish to see translated. And we hope to do more of that. We've seen people telling us how their lives have changed, how their lives are improved, the comfort, the inspiration that they feel coming to Dawn Mountain. We really are inspired to envision a way that Dawn Mountain becomes a stable beacon and place of gathering for people who wish to practice at whatever level.
I trust the teachings. I feel in the place. I feel that I am constantly fed.
And I can feel my breathing better because of the way my legs are positioned.
How long have you been sitting like that?
I learned it when I started coming here.
And it's not only been in the spiritual sense, but also in every aspect of my daily life. I feel that I'm less stressed out. I don't get as angry or as depressed as I used to.
It's good. It teaches me how to kind of relax and be mindful and help with school and stuff like that whenever I get aggravated.
One of our projects that has come to partial fruition is that we have developed a curriculum, which is posted on our website, that explains the open matrix of what a spiritual path can be supported here at Dawn Mountain.
We've slowly become aware of the power of the media, and it is clear now that there is great interest in both our broadcasts from here, and from time to time we might be able to have broadcasts from Asia with Adzom Rinpoche or his sister Anila. Without students, there are no teachers, and without teachers, there are no students. We all dependently create one another. So we're very, very excited by the energy that is in the community. The community is alive, it is supportive, it is growing, and it really wishes to thrive, and we want to participate in that thriving in every way that we can. But we're really talking about finding a space of shared values. And if individuals share the values that we have in terms of coming to a deep appreciation of our innermost nature, then come and participate. That's the most significant thing that we can do together. Just sharing our participation is lovely and meaningful. And anything above and beyond that, by way of offering service for this community, offering financial, flows naturally. And we expect that that will just be a natural outflow for people because of that shared interest.
I ask precious 3 gems from deep in my pained heart. See me with compassion. I have no other hope. This dear human body, impermanence besets. Do you not fear your death, good and faithful student? The 5 skandhas gather and disperse who knows when. Heartily think on death, good and faithful student. Karma never deceives, So give up wrongful thoughts, engage Dharma wholly. I ask precious three gems from deep in my pained heart. See me with compassion.
Segment of meditation, chanting and meditation. Kelly, could you do the candle? Jessica, give her some help. So we do the blessing before we read the names. With all of you in mind, we light this lamp of clarity. May the glow of love, wisdom, shine within us, everyone, till we all rise forth born in one enlightened mandala. So today, along with all beings, we hold in mind Tina and her family, Era, Zach, Miriam, Malak, Fadia, Lavon, Rueda, Katie, Helen and the Bardo, Jack Phillips and family, Teresa, job search, Francis, Anthony, Riggs and Dolma, Gloria, 3-year retreat, Giorgio and Stefania, Eleanor Day, Nika and family, George Helland, Alexis, Andrea, Fran, Tony, Stephanie, everyone at Camp Monterey, Kelly, Brittany, Tobias, Lily and family, Chuck and the Bardo, Al, Mark, Lee, Karen, Alan, Evan, Fabio, Stephen, Nancy Cutler, Ela Ramsey and the Bardo, Carol Hoy, surgery on Monday, Ruth Williams, Josh and Diana Cutler, Nam, Tim, and Sharon Stern. So we'll hold everyone and all here and all everywhere in our minds as we have a bright orb in our heart and chant an ah. So this coming Tuesday, we will have a class on compassion and love, Donglen practice. That's at 7. On Sunday, August 30th, we'll continue, of course, our ongoing classes on Sunday, meetings. On August 30th, we will have an open house. Mary Scott, do you want to say something about the open house?
Just kind of a kickoff for the fall, our children's and families and moms program starting shortly thereafter. You can find out more about all of those, as well as opportunities to volunteer and participate more deeply here at Don Mountain.
Thank you. And the first Tuesday of September, September 1st, it will be an open, free introduction to meditation. If you have any friends who you'd like to introduce to practice at Dawn Mountain, please bring them along on Tuesday, September 1st. Our kids program for the younger children, 4 to 8, starts on September 13th. That's a Sunday. And then on Saturday, September 19th, I, along with Mark and Claire, will be doing our first segment of Dawn Mountain Wisdom Series, which will be an introduction to teachings relevant to developing wisdom. and you're all invited to that. Thank you all for coming on a very hot day. Have a good day.